Hi and welcome back to a new project using art anthology paints and mediums, and today I want to share a Halloween project with you. It's a little bit oozing and disgusting, but I really hope you enjoy the Halloween project that I created for you. I started with a canvas piece and I adhered some old newspaper with a lot of numbers and tables on it onto the background, and I did that off camera. And then added some Tango and Mayan gold paints across the canvas. And what I really like with art anthology paints is that they blend really well together. You don't need to go back and forth 2 or 3 times like you have to do with other paints. You really add a second or a third layer while the other paints are still kind of wet, and then it blends automatically, and they kind of it's really easy to mix them together. So here I have my classic orange Halloween colors, and I have the base for my background. And now the first part of the oozing starts. I love that word, by the way. And I'm using the Radiance Minx shimmering ink to create some dripping effects. And I love that this color has really a nice bloody tone, bloody color. So it fits perfectly to that project. There's a lot of heat setting going on in the background. I cut that off because I thought you didn't want to watch me heat setting everything. But between every layer, so the paints, now the minks, and then later when I use the sprays, I heat set them all in between. Just to make sure that, especially with those very fluid layers like the inks and the sprays, I want to make sure that everything is really dry in between. So while it's still sitting there a little bit and drying, I'm preparing my little test tube here that I got from from Deb, the store owner at Scrapbooking Forever that also sells anthology paints. She had some laying around and asked me if I want them, and I was like, ooh, nice Halloween project there. So I decorated this test tube a little bit with some washi tape that had some Halloween spooky ice on it. And then just added some frames around it, just a little bit, that it's not entirely naked, because what is oozing, the part that is oozing out there, I didn't want to fill the entire test tube with it. So kind of hid it with decorating it just a little bit. And it's just normal washi tape, so there's nothing fancy there, and I'm not adding any additional adhesive. I'm just using what the washi tape already has, and hope, fingers crossed, that it will hold. Next up, I'm using the cotton paint and add a little bit texture through the dotted stencil. And the cool thing is about the cotton paint is that these paints are opaque, so it will take on a little bit color that comes from the background, from the paint that I put on there originally, and from the inks. So it's not going to stay really bright white, so it will merge into the background there, which I think is really an interesting effect. So next up, after that part was dry, I'm adding the coloration spray and the color Sandcastle because it looked too bright still. I needed to mute it down a little bit, so I'm adding a little bit of spray spritzers and just flick it onto the canvas a little bit and try to get some brown color in there, so it looks a little bit more dirty and a little bit more Halloweenish there. And then again, another drying time. That is the part that you have to do when you work with that many very liquid paints and mediums. So but I really wanted to add like a lot of speckles there, and I really tried to put it onto a lot of areas that it starts really blending into the background, and not just like 2 or 3 little spritzes here and there. I really wanted to have a cohesive background there that really looks like nice and Halloween, and not like bright shiny Disney thing or something. Next up, I'm adding a paper that is a Bow Bunny paper, and I found it also at my local craft store, and I loved it because it has like all those little labels on there, and I picked the one with the owl's eyeballs because that's what I wanted to let ooze out of the test tube. And that's what I'm adhering there. And then I'm adhering the tube itself. And because the washi tape that I put around it has, you would see like where I put it together. So I tried to have it at the same position, because that is the place where I will adhere it then onto my little canvas. So you don't see the areas where the washi tape matches then at the end of the day. So then to create the yucky paste, I'm using my Bone Stone Effect paste, and then I'm taking the leaf sorbet paint and mix that together. I thought the leaf has a nice poisony looking color, and together with the bone, it obviously light it up a little bit because the bone is has a white tint to it. It got even better, so it now has like the really poison ivy look that I totally love. And I spread it all around the test tube and put a little bit inside so it really looks like it's oozing out of there, and then try to like mess it up that it looks like really a yucky kind of texture. By the way, I love the paints. The paints are not yucky, just FYI. I'm just in the theme of Halloween. Obviously, I wanted to have it a little bit more spooky. So, and then I'm adding some little stones. It's like styrofoam stones, styrofoam balls in there, because it's all owl's eyeballs or extracts from owl's eyeballs. Say that 3 times fast. So I wanted to have those little eye pieces in the whole yucky part that is coming out of the tube. So I'm putting some of those in there while the paste is still wet so it can dry in and I don't need any extra adhesive or anything else. And then I'm adding a little bit of the same coloration spray on top of them so they merge more into the whole colors there. I'll also, because the paper label of the Owl's Eyeballs label looks a little bit too new and white, I'm using again the Sandcastle coloration spray and just add a little bit around the corner. I distress the borders all so the paper is really nice and open, and it really takes the coloration sprays nicely and spreads it inside the paper. So I really have to add just a little dot off the spray here and there, and then it starts spreading on its own inside the paper and makes it look nice and old. So that that color is really the perfect color to make paper look a little bit old and used, which is really nice. I hope you enjoyed today's Halloween project. Feel inspired to create your own Halloween themed canvas using Art Anthology paints and products. And then I hope I will see you soon with my next project. Bye!